Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, MBC Lifestyle Diary. My name is Marie, I live in New York, and I love fashion, travel, and cultural events, and I'm asking you to join me on the adventure.
Being a celebrity. But wait, let me start at the beginning. I was discovered on the number 7 train on my way to NYU School of Drama. A man approached me and said, "Have you ever thought of being in the movies?" This was the 70s. That was a common pickup line, along with, "You're stunning, we're looking for models." He saw the look of annoyance and realized, yeah, this sounds like a corny pickup line. Instead, he handed me his card and said, "If the thought ever crossed my mind, please give him a call." As a courtesy, I looked at the card and saw his name. His name was the famous director Spinoza. He was a professor at NYU. Shoot. This was real. When I got to class, I looked him up in the directory and went to his office, and there he was. The rest of the story is history. My first feature role was Girl in Blue, a light-hearted rom-com. Then we did an intrigue with the movie The Yellow Pumpkin. In cashing in on the disco era, we snatched a title from Donna Summers and did a movie entitled Last Dance, Last Chance for Love. Those were heady days. I was starstruck. I couldn't believe I was living this life. I had to move from New York City to LA and into the obligatory mansion. I was a successful actress. I had legitimate acting skills, and I chose my movie roles wisely. And this brings us to now. I needed a sabbatical from being a movie star. The paparazzi in LA are forever present and persistent, along with all the promotions to be done for different films. I decided to move back to my apartment in New York City and take a transatlantic cruise to Europe. I booked a huge suite, got another room for my bodyguard, and headed off on our new adventure. Let's talk about my bodyguard. I had blown up after the movie Last Dance, and my agent felt it would be wise to hire a bodyguard. He found Alejandro. He was young, we both were back then, but he was the best in the business, a former Navy SEAL. When my agent introduced him, my eyes sparkled. My agent knew exactly what that meant. But there was no reaction from Alejandro. He was a complete professional. But me, on the other hand, I was smitten. My agent knew this could lead to disaster, and he scolded me and told me not to be an idiot. Don't start anything with him. Don't let him become ineffective because you insist on a romance. I listened to my agent quietly, but no way in hell was I going to listen. I tried immediately to flirt and lure Alejandro, and to my surprise, shock, and disbelief, I was rebuffed. "What? You're turning me down? I'm a star. Do you know who I am?" Alejandro quietly explained that it was his job to protect me. He cannot have his judgment clouded. Obviously, all this is taking place before harassment cases were being bought. Anyway, yes, let's get back to the story. I didn't let him off easily. Also, coincidentally, the movie The Bodyguard, starring Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner, had just been released. I set up a private screening at home, and as he stood in the back of the theater, I said, "Look, Kevin Costner can't resist Whitney." He laughed, and then unfortunately, the movie proved Alejandro's point. The whole point of the story is Kevin Costner fell for Whitney Houston and his judgment was compromised. So basically, I took the big hint and I stopped bothering Alejandro. Sometimes, though, I did taunt him with my dates, but there was no reaction from him. He remained a gentleman and a professional. Over time, I trusted him and felt protected by him. Our friendship grew. Hence, after many years together, a lifetime of experiences, we were on this transatlantic cruise together. I took this time to think. I had wealth. I had material possessions. But time had passed so quickly, and these possessions were hollow. I spent so much time working, I didn't get to enjoy my wealth and my material possessions and everything that we think money actually buys, but doesn't. I looked over at Alejandro. Being my bodyguard meant his schedule was the same as mine. He was also never home. The material possessions were also empty for him. But the one thing we had over the years was each other, and our friendship was deep. We had many ups and downs in our lives, and we were there for each other simply because of proximity, and fortunately, our personalities kind of matched. We had a similar outlook on life and similar philosophy. And this deep friendship was based on mutual respect and admiration. I looked at Alejandro and said I was leaving the entertainment industry. I wanted a different life, so therefore, I would no longer need him as my bodyguard, as I would not be out in public as much, and I would be pursuing private endeavors. At that point, Alejandro took my hand into his and looked deeply into my eyes and said he had stayed working as my bodyguard because he had always loved me. He had fallen in love since day one. And suddenly I realized all the things that I had been looking for in empty materials were right here in front of me, in the warmth of his eyes and the tenderness of his kiss. We got married. If you enjoyed this fantasy, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.